versa. Erica, have you met everybody?
No, I have not, but I'm happy to be on this call and meet you, Jeremy and Ilana.
So nice to meet you.
You too.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Carlos.
Carlos, it's been a while.
I
Carlos
know.
and his daughter Katrina is this amazing opera singer. She went to the Boston Conservatory and she has autism.
Hi,
And
Katie.
Diego too. Both Katrina and Jeff were on our Living Autistically panel at our neuroscience or neurodiversity conference in 2019. Hi, Jeff. We were on that together.
Yeah.
I just realized, so you guys are in Irvine, right?
Yeah.
My son Garrett's going to be doing an internship there this summer. So that would be great if he got to meet up with you guys. I mean, I'd love to meet up with you guys too and meet you in
Yeah.
person.
Where will he be? Where will he be?
He's working for as an intern for a law firm there in the summer.
That's great.
Yeah,
meet him.
we're excited. Hi, Carlos. Nice to see your face.
You're on mute, Carlos.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Yuming.
Hey, Yumi.
Hi.
Nice to see your
Hello
face.
there. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, hi.
Okay. I guess I was on mute for a second, but as the call goes on, I'll just re-mute.
Yeah.
So
No
that
problem.
when my wife calls me and says she wants me to do a honeydew, you don't have to listen.
Oh.
Thanks for making the time today, Carlos. It's good to see you.
No problem.
And
Carlos, I have a question for you. Are you signed up for the neurodiversity conference?
No. And I know Katrina would probably love to go. So
Yes.
yeah, we'll probably sign up.
Oh, I
And
hope you do. Jeff's flying out for it too.
who is? Oh, Jeff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Hi,
and-
Cindy.
That's great. Well, hi, Jeff, by the way. How are you doing?
hey, Carlos. And
Yeah.
my wingman's going to be coming with me. So
Oh, and I'm curious. Your wingman?
my dad.
Oh, your dad. Okay, so I'll get to meet your dad.
Yeah. I think I didn't you meet him last year or?
I do. I don't recall meeting him. I know
Okay.
you, Katrina, and I sat together with a couple of other people, and it was just you. It was the panel discussion. So,
I know you both were at our 20th anniversary this year.
yes,
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
that was also a lot of fun.
Cool.
And meeting some of the people, it's how Autism Tree really supported Katrina's show. So we were walking around trying to meet the people who, in the background, who helped out. That was really good. That was
Oh,
a fun event.
it was.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, no problem.
All right.
Um,
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get started, and then I'll add people as they come in. So welcome. Hello to Cindy on the East Coast, and Katie, and Brain Balance, and Yuming. So nice to see all of you. Okay, so a couple Zoom rules before we get started as a refresher for anybody who might not have joined in a while. Please mute yourself when you're not speaking. We recommend speaker view for presentation. Video sharing is optional, though we love to see all your smiling faces, especially at the end when we have a Q&A with our guest speaker. Please type all questions and comments into the chat. You're welcome to do that during the presentation, and you can also unmute yourself for the Q&A or type it into the chat and I can read it to our guest speaker today. But we're all about making connections. So this is our time to really do a face to and voice connection with our guest speakers. So we're all a family here, and you're welcome to contribute as much as you'd like. A quick update from Autism Tree real quick. We are at 554 brand new families who have joined Autism Tree since January 1st of this year, which is a record for us. That means we're 2 families away from all of the number that we did last year, bringing in families January through December of 2022. So we are it's the end of September and we still have a few months left in the year, and we have already reached all of our new intakes from last year. So welcome to all of our new families. We're so happy to be a part of your lives and have you be a part of our Autism Tree community. If you are new to Autism Tree, we offer 20 programs, 9 are in-person in San Diego County, 7 are hybrid, both in-person and online, and 4 are virtual. So if no matter where you are, inside San Diego County or outside, you're welcome to attend any of our free program events that we do, over 200 a year. We have 21 upcoming events just between now and the end of October. We also add events all the time, so feel free to check back to our social media. We constantly post on our calendar, our Facebook calendar, what's coming up, as well as our Instagram, to keep our families in the loop. Events that we have upcoming this week, just this week, we have our NCL Adaptive Art Workshop in partnership with the National Charity League. We paired their volunteers with all of our families. They get to do arts and crafts, so much fun. We have that at a local library. That will be this Saturday in the morning at 10. We have our adaptive dance class, which happens every single week. We alternate age groups, 6 to 12, ages 6 to 12 is this week, and we also have 13 through 24, so even our young adults are welcome to do our dance classes. That'll be this Saturday at Tap Fever Studios in Pacific Beach at 12 p.m. Then we have our USD women's and men's basketball meet and greet. I'm so excited for this. It's a brand new community partnership with the basketball teams, their men's and women's teams, their staff, their coaches, their players are all so incredible, and I can't wait for all of you to meet them. If you come out, please come out to this event. It's so fun. We're going to pair every family with a women's basketball player and a men's basketball player, and we are doing pairings tomorrow. But of course, if you want to sign up between now and this Saturday, you're definitely welcome to spread the word, because this is a mentorship program that we're launching for our families to come out to all the home games during the season. Their home games start in November. Their season starts in November to early next year. So this is just a meet and greet to come meet the players, get on the field, on the basketball court and shoot some hoops or just do arts and crafts and get to know their player and make those connections. And then we also have our AT Rocks golf tournament. That's our 3rd annual golf tournament this year. This year we are having free mini golf for our families. So that will be on Sunday, October 1st at the Point Loma Club, or at the Loma Club in Point Loma in Liberty Station. And it's free for anybody to come. We do have reserved spots though, so you have to RSVP online or by contacting us. That'll be from 2:30 to 4:30. So come join us. It's free and it's going to be so much fun. And special thank you to the Hoff family, the founder family, for sponsoring mini golf for our families this year. And then we also have 550 impact videos on Autism Tree's YouTube channel. We've been doing this since the pandemic. And thank you to all of our subscribers and people who have been sharing our videos as resources to our families. We love our autism community, online community. We also have 133 lunch and learns that are uploaded on our YouTube channel as a playlist, so you can go back and access that anytime you'd like. As you know, a resource to more families. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to our co-founder and executive director, Dana Hoff, who will introduce our guest speaker, say a few things about Autism Tree, and our guest speaker.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so happy to be here with you all. And just every week, since before the pandemic, I'm so blown away of like exactly this group, whatever, every Wednesday, whatever we're doing, it seems like it's divine intervention and it's meant to be. I don't know why. I think because we're gearing up to go into Q4 and we're just like in turbo more than usual, that I've been sending our team, me and Rebecca, who's on here, and Erica, who's new to our team, leadership quotes every day. And I felt like I wanted to share this with you guys. If your actions create a legacy that inspires others to dream more, learn more, do more, become more, then you are an excellent leader. And I just wanted you to know, I take our leadership very serious for myself and our team right here, right now. But when I think about it, each of you that I know that's on here, I want you to know that I see you in that quote. I see you doing amazing things and inspiring people. And it just is an honor for me to be able to lead Autism Tree, but for you to know that I'm always growing with you every week. I think the singular thing that keeps our team expanding our reach, expanding our heart, expanding our knowledge is this lunch and learn. And a couple of things I want to share with you from a high level in the foundation is that there are remarkable things happening all the time, and I simply have to give God the credit, and also the fact that we've been pushing hard for 20 years. I'm going to give you the top 3 things I want to share that are going on. 1, Garrett Hoff is always trying to pave the way for neurodiversity. I'm going to give you an example. He's in law school. My son, me and Todd started Autism Tree when our son Garrett was diagnosed with autism at 2. He's 23 now. He's at Duke Law School. Duke Law School has a dean for neurodiversity. Now, the things that are in place are not going to be surprising to you. So if you're a new student and you go and look at, or you're looking at a law student and you go for admin day and look at that college to decide if that's one that you'd be interested in, well, they're doing a good job for Black Lives Matters, LGBTQ communities. Those are in place, but there's nothing there for neurodiversity. So if you're someone with autism or any other type of neurodiverse way that you think, there's no group in place. And so Garrett really saw that all going on. And once he accepted to go to school there, really wanted to have a group to welcome a new student. He would have loved to have had that. And more importantly, he was so shocked to realize, wow, there's other students in the law school with autism. And so today was the first day that they actually had a chapter meeting. I've already been having texts with people that I was asking to pray about the event so that it would go well, because it's a groundbreaking effort. The dean is behind it. Garrett had to get the approvals and all of that, and he does not at all want the club to be about him or him running it. So this whole thing for him is about having that be something that will sustain and be there long past when he's gone. So give a little extra love to that effort. What we're talking about is paving a way that's not there, is creating something that's not there. DEI, as we have learned over and over again, does not include neurodiversity. And that is a big part of our mission now. Because we've been around a generation, we have hundreds of teens that we're trying to help decide if they're going to go to college, if they're going to do a trade, if they're going to be able to live on their own. All these things we're doing with teenagers and above. Our probably oldest person with autism that we're involved with and has been part of our neurodiversity conference in the past is in their 60s. People are getting diagnosed later and later and later, and they come to our foundation, and Rebecca and I first off listen to their stories and what their goals are, and we honestly love it. It's a huge blessing, and we try to bring them into the bigger picture of Autism Tree. And that brings me to our neurodiversity conference. Dr. Allison Motry, our chairman, feels it's going to be our best one ever. He's saying that from the scientific part of who's going to be doing high level science research. And Rebecca and I are going to say that from the standpoint that we are having, I think, our best panels ever. And they all have very good moderators. Jeff Snyder is helping moderate our living. We're not going to call it autistic because the panel's bigger, spread it out than that. It's neurodiverse panel. And And then we have our first ever siblings panel. And I like to give a shout out to Cindy Poulin, who's helped me with everything I do. She's our East Coast liaison. And Dr. Vivante is there moderating the sibling panel. He has two brothers who are not verbally fluent. They don't, and they live in a group home until now. We just found out that his brothers do not have the living facility that they've always been in, the home that they've always been in, and are back living with Dr. Giacomo Vivante's parents who are in their 80s. So our panel is going to be really, really significant and deep, and I've been working on it for years, and it's something that means a lot to me, even though I only have one son. From day one, I've always had people around me very, very concerned about siblings. And right now I have the chills because in our own foundation, starting with Dr. Allison Motri, our chairman, and Dr. Vivante, our moderator for the siblings panel, they're having so many issues related to the bottom just drops out sometimes, and it's like, who's going to be there for a loved one that requires 24-hour care? So I just want to tell you how much that means to me. And if you have not registered for the Neurodiversity Conference, please go online. We can attach it when we send out this Lunch and Learn by Jeremy today. We'll send it out, the link at the bottom of it, and it's all over our social media as well. The final thing I want to share is that we have two best-selling authors. Angie Kim is on a book tour, a national book tour. She was just on Good Morning America. She did a phenomenal job, and she has written a story, and the central character is not verbal, and he it's a story, it's not a true story, goes missing and when he's with his father, and then no one can figure out what happened to the dad. That's the kind of central plot line of it. And Angie's book is doing so well. And when she comes to San Diego the night before our neurodiversity conference, she's going to be doing a book signing and a discussion with our own Otto Lana, who many of you know. Otto's 18. He's been with our foundation since he was diagnosed at age 3. We call him Otto's Nation. He's bringing a massive amount of community to this. That what Otto would like me to say is they're multi-modality communicators. So many people who have a communication partner or technology they use to communicate, none of them are verbal like in the way that we typically think about it. And also many of them are in wheelchairs. One of his friends is in a wheelchair and actually types on an iPad using his feet. So it's going to be truly remarkable. There's no way I could possibly say how honored I am to be part of it and for our foundation to be doing this national book tour with Angie here locally in San Diego with her interviewing Otto. And what an amazing blessing that Angie's friend, who's a best-selling author, Janelle Brown, she wrote Pretty Things and many other books, and Nicole Kidman is turning that into a movie or a series that'll be on Hulu or Amazon Prime. Will be there moderating, and they'll both be on a panel with Dr. Levy and Otto at the conference. So they'll be here 2 days working with the foundation. And I hope that if you're local and you're coming down for the conference, I absolutely hope you can come to the book signing that we're doing with Warwick's on that Thursday. That's November 2nd, and the conference is Friday, November 3rd. So that was kind of a lot of updates, but the biggest thing we're doing right now is we're honored to have Jeremy here. And I personally am so excited to learn from Jeremy today. I feel like there's so many individuals on the autism spectrum that Rebecca and I have spent time with on Zoom, actually one-on-one during the pandemic, who want to find love and express that and even want to be on that show, Love on the Spectrum. And so I think this topic is just something that's really near and dear, and that we want, that kind of everyone to find their person. And so thank you so much for being here, Jeremy and Lana, and just for your heart and all the work that you do. And I hope to meet you in person too sometime since you're in Irvine. There's many people on this call that are from the East Coast, just so you know, Jeremy. So you're building and expanding out your network. I know Jeremy told me when we first talked last time that he was in New York, but today he's coming from Irvine with Lana. So thank you and a warm welcome. I appreciate all the efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
You can see our screen, fantastic. So yeah, it's really wonderful, Dana and Rebecca, to be talking to you all about a topic that's really meaningful to us. I'm Jeremy Hamburgh. I'm the founder of My Best Social Life. This is Ilana Hamburgh. Although when I wrote these slides, it was still Ilana Frank. She's our director of education, and we're friendship and dating coaches for autistic and neurodivergent adults. And if you think I'm speaking quickly, it's because I am. I know we have an end time at 1 o'clock, and I know that this presentation takes about 40 minutes. So I'm gonna talk pretty quickly, but we're excited to talk with all of you about how to be more social, make new friends, find community, maybe even start dating, because there's so many wonderful social opportunities here at Autism Tree, as we saw in one of the slides from Rebecca a couple minutes ago, and all over the San Diego area, really. So for parents who are joining us today or are going to watch this on YouTube, you'll see that the language we use really speaks directly to our attendees who are autistic, because ultimately this really is about them and their social lives. But we don't want you to feel excluded, because as parents, you can help your son or daughter with the steps that we'll be talking about. So everyone who is here or watching this is in the right place. And with that said, what we're going to cover in the next, let's call it 40 minutes, looking at the time, is an important how-to list for starting to build a social life that will make you truly happy. So just in the interest of time, you'll see, you can see on the slide sort of the topics that we're going to be covering. Ultimately, sort of in short, this is all about how to be the most confident and courageous version of yourself, so that you can make the most of your social opportunities here at Autism Tree and beyond. So that's what we're going to cover. Before we go too much further, probably makes sense to introduce ourselves for a moment. So you start.
Sure. So as Jeremy said, I'm Ilana Hamburgh, and I spent 16 years as a teacher in New York City in the public school system, where I focused on empowering students with special needs to achieve their potential. And back in early 2021, when I was still Ilana Frank and living in New York, Jeremy invited me to sit in on our programs, then his programs, weekly client community call. And I got to see something that I'd never seen before, which was a group of autistic and neurodiverse adults getting together to celebrate their progress. And Jeremy likes to tell people, and I like to tell people, that I came, fell in love, and never left. So here I am now, not in New York anymore, in California, and I get to be the director of education for My Best Social Life and for the Social Life 360 program, and it's amazing. And I truly love it because I spend my days thinking about how to decode the social world and recode it in a way that makes sense to the neurodivergent brain, using formulas and diagrams and step-by-step processes. So that's a little bit about my journey.
My journey, much different. I'm the founder of My Best Social Life and the Social Life 360 program, but my career started as a lawyer. I spent 7 years as in-house counsel at Chase Bank, and 7 years before that as a criminal prosecutor in New York City, where I specialized in financial crimes. And it was around the time that I was finishing law school, not unlike Dana's son, that I started a social group for Jewish young adults in my synagogue in Manhattan. And we'd get 100 or 200 people to our events. And my friends wanted to know how I walked into events by myself and walked out with new friends and new dates, because that's what they wanted for themselves. And my answer was, I have no idea, not a clue. So I spent the next 3 years learning with a lot of the books that are sort of behind me, what makes two people attracted to one another. And I combined that with the skills that I was developing as a young prosecutor. Because after all, when you think about a courtroom lawyer, like, what's his name? Sam Waterston on Law and Order. You think about someone who projects confidence, who asks good questions, who tells good stories, who's a good listener, right? Well, what I found is that winning over a jury of 12 isn't really that much different than winning over a jury of one person. Being a confident and engaging person is magnetic, whether you're at a social event, whether you're at an Autism Tree event, whether you're inside a courtroom. So I developed an innovative workshop that combined social strategy and real-time feedback, and the Jewish Community Center in Manhattan agreed to host it. And it was so popular that I was invited back again and again and again. And what I didn't know was that the JCC was also home to 3 special needs organizations at the time. And their neurodivergent and autistic members were coming to my dating workshops. And they loved it so much that the special needs organizations started inviting me to do workshops too. So I spent 3 years as the in-house friendship and dating coach at the adaptations program at the Silver Center for Special Needs. And something really cool happened during my time in adaptations. My workshop inspired an award-winning film. The movie was called Keep the Change. It featured 2 autistic actors who were in my dating program, David Polanski and Samantha Olisafon. And if you haven't seen the film, you should. It's a fictional story about David and Samantha meeting at an autism support group and starting a romantic relationship. It won Best Film at the Tribeca Film Festival. And I'm proud that my program was the very first place it was screened. Looking back on it, though, I think a very big reason why the film was so groundbreaking was because nobody was talking about autistic people dating and finding love, right? This came out years before Love on the Spectrum, which Dana mentioned a couple of moments ago, or, Atypical. When the movie came out, seeing autistic people dating was a novelty. And I felt really strongly that it shouldn't be. So I dedicated my career to understanding the architecture of the social world and cracking the code to social success for people with autism. And I knew that my approach needed to be different because what was being taught in the neurodivergent community wasn't working for most people. So I'm proud to say that the program Ilana and I run, which we call Social Life 360, is truly like nothing else on the planet. We give our clients a simple step-by-step strategy to be more social, find community, make new friends, make real connections on their dates. And we do it in a way that matches how their brain works. So we break every skill and social situation down into formulas and diagrams and checklists and step-by-step processes, because that's how our clients' brains work best. And we're by our client's side every step along the way. We'll be by their parents' side too, if they need it and they want it. And the end result is that our clients make more progress and more connections in less time, and it's truly inspiring to watch. So that's who we are. And that's how quickly I can speak. That's the lawyer in me.
And the former debater.
And the former debater in me. And I'm proud of the really big impact that Ilana and I have on the lives of autistic and neurodiverse adults and their families. And so our promise to you is that by the end of this training, if we don't run out of time, you'll have a simple and effective 5-step roadmap that you can use to meet more people with more confidence here at Autism Tree and beyond, and do it faster than maybe you thought possible. But for many of you right now, socializing is a struggle. Meeting new people, bringing them into your life, keeping them there, it can all feel really overwhelming. And that's because it can feel like each part of the social process is its own riddle that you need to solve. And so just take a look at the list again. How many of the things on this list describe how you feel? Okay, you get nervous, you get anxious, you get frustrated, and it's because every part of the social process feels like a riddle and it's exhausting. As Dr. Dave Caudell of the Vanderbilt Autism Clinic said when he spoke at our weekly client community call, people on the spectrum are sick and tired of poorly imitating what other people do so easily. But we would take that even a step further, because what we hear from so many of your peers is that you feel like you have tried everything and everything has failed. And I bet many parents who are watching this feel the same way, which is why Ilana and I have dedicated our careers to making sure that you don't fail. We have dedicated our careers to helping wonderful people like you, like your sons and daughters, build social lives that they enjoy and that they're proud of. And that's why the 5 steps that we're going to kind of rush through here today are so important. The 5 steps are designed to cut through the massive amount of advice that's out there, because it is completely overwhelming. Between books and websites and YouTube, there is so much advice out there. And some of that advice is good, some of it's terrible, a lot of it's contradictory, all of which makes it impossible for you to know what to do. So we're giving you a simpler approach, which we call the 5 steps. And it'll have you, or it'll help you have more control over who you're bringing into your life, how you're building a deeper connection with them, and the confidence that you feel when you're doing it. And you'll start to see why everything that you tried before hasn't really worked in terms of building friendships and relationships and a social life. But when you take the 5 steps, you will have a clear strategy that can empower you to have deeper conversations and smoother social interactions. And you'll start to feel like a more confident and courageous of yourself. So confident and courageous version of yourself. That's a tongue twister. So let's start with the first step. The first step is to set your sights on social success. And that, speaking of tongue twisters, and that's a fancy way of saying that it's important to understand what you want your social life to look like and who you want to be in it. One of the most important questions we ask in every strategy session is, what do you want your friendships and relationships to be like? And, the answers are usually really short, like,
I want someone nice. I want someone who will appreciate me, someone to do things with. We get a lot of that.
Yeah. And obviously those are very real desires, but they're also pretty vague. And it's because most of the people who we talk to aren't really sure. They don't have clarity about what they want in their life and what they want their social life to look like. And that's a problem, because how do you plan for bringing the right people into your life when you don't even know who you're looking for? You get caught in a chicken or the egg situation, or a catch-22, right? You don't have a goal, so you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan, so you can't achieve your goal. And around and around and around that problem goes. And what we know to be true is that the only way to achieve a goal in life is by having a clear vision of what that goal is. And the reason why is because knowing what you want allows us to reverse engineer the right strategy for making it happen. And that's why the first step is really about thinking through what you want your life to look like and who you want to be in it, because then you can get to work, okay? And we can work smarter and not harder, which is like my mantra. Since so many of the clients in our program are movie buffs, the way we help them get clarity is by helping them make a movie in their mind that they can watch over and over again, where they are being social and they're succeeding at it. That way, when they're out and about, in the social world, they already know what success looks like, and they know what it feels like for them. Because not only have they watched that movie before, they wrote it, they produced it, they starred in it. So let's get really concrete here, okay? To get you started, you want to start thinking about who's in the movie with you, okay? Where are you going together? What are the things that you're doing together? What are the conversations that you're having? And when it comes to the conversation, this is where you want to get really specific, okay? What are the questions that you're asking? What are the answers that you're getting back? What are you replying to those answers, okay? And the biggie is, what does winning look like and feel like for you? Really go deep, okay? Because the more vivid the movie, the deeper you go, the easier it is for us to make it reality. And so that's the first step, okay? Setting your sights on social success. The second step is finding those people. And we call it finding your tribe. And it's all about spending more time where the right people are getting together. Again, when Ilana and I do strategy sessions, the big question that we or our colleague Cecile always start with is, what is not working in your social life? And almost everyone we meet shares the same frustration. They tell us that they don't know where to go to find people they'll enjoy. Well, not knowing where to find people is a really big problem when you're trying to have a social life, right? When you don't know where to go to find the right people, I think all of you watching this know what happens, right? You mostly hang out with your family. You spend a lot of time alone in your room, which usually means that you're probably playing a lot of video games or spending a lot of time staring at your phone, watching the latest videos on TikTok and YouTube. Obviously watch the YouTube for Autism Tree. Autism Tree doesn't count. But none of those things moves you closer to your purpose. When you're alone in your room and you're staring at your screen, it means that you're not in the places where your future friends are hanging out, which means that you're not giving yourself a chance at the life that you want to live. What you really want is to have a true friend, maybe a true partner one day, right? So it's important to know what you're looking for. And we call it the true friend test. And it means that you should be looking for people who have 3 essential qualities. Quality number 1, common interest, okay? A true friend or partner shares at least one of your hobbies or passions, whether that's art or anime or hiking or comics or music, even video games. Video games do count. Quality number 2, mutual acceptance. They accept you for who you are and they allow you to be your authentic self, and vice versa. And quality number 3 is equal effort. They are committed to the relationship, which means that they put as much effort into the relationship as you do. And if you ask us, there is nothing in the world quite like having people in your life who are true friends. But it starts with spending time in the places where those types of people are getting together. So that's why step 2 is all about finding your tribe. And, a big part of the reason why Ilana and I are so excited about Autism Tree is because, they're firm believers that you should meet real people in real life doing real activities. And so are we. But I'll also be the first to admit that I thought the internet would be the solution to loneliness for people with autism and neurodiversity. And it just hasn't been. And I thought 5 billion people on the internet, great. You don't need to think about body language, great. You have time to think about your questions and what you're asking and your answers, great. And so, for all of those reasons, I was in a very large crowd of people who thought that the internet was exactly what autistic people needed to solve their loneliness problem. And now I'm a very big part of, the crowd that's very disappointed, because in reality, the internet has actually made loneliness worse for many people who are autistic and who felt marginalized and frustrated to begin with. Many people on the spectrum waste countless hours sending messages to strangers and then they get ghosted, right? Or, they message with people through a gaming portal or a social media app, but, they log off feeling like something's missing, which it is. And even worse, right? They may be out to defraud you. As someone who spent almost 7 years as a criminal prosecutor in New York City, I can tell you that one of the biggest factors in being the victim of a scam is loneliness. Lonely people want to believe that the attention they're getting is real, which is why they fall for fraudsters at an incredibly alarming rate. And the internet is a really easy place for fraudsters to find new victims. But scams aside, autistic people have shared with us that trying to find people online is actually twice as hard as meeting people in person. And there are 2 reasons for that. Reason number 1, the internet is full of hidden rules. Again, just look at this list. There are hidden rules for everything, from writing your profile to choosing your photo, writing a message, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All of that is daunting. And number 2, even if you manage to master all the hidden rules of the internet, you still need the in-person social skills to win someone over in real life. Okay? Think about that for a moment. You can spend years learning how to interact with people online. But once you master it, the only thing that gets you is a phone call or maybe a hangout. And that's it. Okay? And once you get together in person, you still need the conversation skills and the body language skills and the social cues and the confidence to spark a connection. So in reality, what's happening is that the internet actually doubles the number of social skills you need to master, which means double the work, double the frustration, double the time, if not more, right? And when you've spent a lifetime struggling, that is not what you want. So the bottom line is that the most socially successful autistic people aren't sitting at home. Okay, they're not hanging out at bars. They're not spending all their time on the internet. What makes them successful is that they're focused on finding their tribe and becoming part of that tribe and getting to know the people in that tribe and being part of the fabric of it. And so my suggestion to you is do the same. And that can start right here, right, with Autism Tree. And we encourage you to go further, find other places in your community where people are doing things, that you find fun and exciting. Because what's become completely clear to me, at least over the last 13 plus years, and I'm sure to Ilana too, is that nothing good happens when you're spending your time, alone in your room or worse, like in the wrong places where you feel bad about yourself. But when you're, with your tribe, then you'll have more fun. You'll be more relaxed. You'll be the best version of yourself. And so that's step 2, finding your tribe. The third step is about way more than friendship and dating. Building your mental library is a tool that can help you in all aspects of your life, whether it's a college interview or a job interview or a family gathering or meeting with a teacher or a boss, because it's all about being prepared ahead of time for interesting things to talk about and interesting questions to ask so that you can have better conversations that create a spark and a connection. And that's so important because once you know who you want in your life and where to go to find these people, then you need to know how to win them over. So that's the third step. And most people who come to us for a strategy session tell us that sparking that connection has been a lifelong battle for them. They'll go into social situations and they don't know what they'll say or what they'll ask or what they'll do in a conversation. So they either keep to themselves, which is what we call being alone in a crowd, or they start a conversation, but it goes badly. And it is not your fault, okay? Most people don't know what guidance to give an autistic adult who wants to be more social. So they suggest things like, say hi, introduce yourself, just start talking to people, right? Be yourself. And it's meant well. But the reality is that doesn't work for neurodivergent adults. Frankly, it doesn't work for typically able people either. Because if I walked up to you and I said, hi, my name is Jeremy, what's your name? You would think that's weird. And you'd be right, because that's just not how adults meet each other. So what's happening is that you're trying to succeed in the social world without a solid social plan. And as my mentor says, when you fail to have a plan, you're planning to fail. And that's what's happening to so many of you and your peers, okay? You have a strong desire for friendship and community and relationships and more, but you don't have a solid plan for how to get there. And it leads to one rejection after another, which feels awful for you, okay? You're trying your best, but what usually happens is that you get nervous, you get anxious, then you start tripping over your words and you get tongue-tied because your mind is racing. And sometimes your mind goes blank entirely and the conversation falls apart fast because it has no flow and it just feels kind of uncomfortable. And in the end, you give up, or the other person walks away because there's no spark and no connection, and you go home alone, right? You don't have a new friend, you don't have a new phone number, you don't have a date, there's nothing to show for your effort except a whole lot of frustration. And frustration is a terrible feeling, right? You want to win. And a big part of winning is having a genuine conversation that creates a real connection. And you are absolutely capable of it. And Ilana and I say that because conversations usually follow a pattern. And autistic people tend to be very good with patterns. So let's use that to your advantage, okay? It starts by thinking about a conversation as nothing more than a combination of 5 basic building blocks, okay? The questions that you ask to keep the conversation flowing. 2, the answers that you give people. 3, the reactions that you have to those answers. 4, the stories that you tell to make the conversation interesting and entertaining. And 5, the next steps or the future planning. Whether it's deciding to have a call with each other or getting together to hang out or whatever. That's really it. Almost every conversation is just those 5 building blocks mixed and matched in some way. And once you start looking for those 5 building blocks in conversations, you're also going to start noticing patterns the way that these elements or building blocks are combined too, which is exactly what socially successful autistic and neurodivergent adults are doing. They realize that conversations follow a pattern, and so they are prepared for it. And the way they prepare for it is by building a mental library for each element of the conversation. Okay, they have an effective conversation starter to break the ice, and they prepared deep questions that keep the conversation going in a way that provokes thought, because bless your all hearts, autistic people hate small talk, and so do I. They've also prepared interesting answers that are intriguing to the listener, because short answers are a conversation killer. And they've prepared stories about their life, the things they've done, the places they've gone, the obstacles they've overcome, because stories are what we call sticky. They make a lasting impression. Okay, so my suggestion, just to get very concrete here, is to do the same thing. Build your mental library, and you're going to love what happens, just like our clients do. Because when you have a mental library of things to talk about, your mind won't go blank and your tongue won't get tied nearly as often, and the conversation will start flowing more effortlessly. And that's magnetic, okay? That's when the winning really begins in your social life. Ilana and I have a very good friend who now works with us, named Stephen Rodriguez, and he's had a profound impact on the way that we think about being a successful person with autism. Stephen is autistic. He's a business owner. He's a husband. He's a dad to 4 kids, one of them on the spectrum. And he's a very frequent guest speaker as well in our community calls. And he says something that I think may resonate with you. He tells people that you can fool them, that he can fool them for a few minutes into thinking that he's just like them. But pretty soon they sense that he's different. So Stephen builds his strength into self-disclosure. He says something like, just so you know, pretty soon you're gonna start thinking I'm weird, So please understand that, my brain is wired differently than yours, which means that I'm not going to laugh at your jokes. I'm not going to understand your sarcasm. You'll probably see my eyes shifting in every direction while I'm thinking. But let me tell you what I'm great at. Okay, I'm great at X, Y, and Z. Okay, and those strengths that Stephen has and that he turned into his superpowers are what allows him to navigate and succeed in a world that very often feels stacked against people who are autistic and neurodivergent. So your fourth step is to do the same thing. It's find your superpowers, because they are there. Okay, but right now, too many people in the world are stuck in what we call the old ways of thinking about autism and neurodivergence. Okay, too many people in our society only see the obstacles. They believe it's a disease, and you need to hide who you truly are, and you need to apologize for how your brain works, and you need to mask your quirks, and you need to, just act like everybody else. And it's devastating, right? The old ways of thinking about autism have been destructive. At the very least, the old ways of thinking have made people in the autism community and the neurodiverse community feel like they're a problem that needs to be cured. It makes them feel broken, defective, invisible. They feel like they don't belong. It makes them feel unwanted and insignificant. And that is paralyzing. When you feel like a lesser human being, of course it's paralyzing. And what's so heartbreaking is exactly the opposite is true. Autistic and neurodivergent isn't lesser, it's just different, okay? And differences are important. Society is weaker when it's homogenous. Society is weaker when we are all the same. It is stronger when we are when we have differences, and those can be superpowers. So my suggestion to you is find those superpowers. And if you need help doing that, there's a nice list up on the screen to help you start thinking about it, okay? Honesty, integrity, empathy, loyalty, commitment, creativity, inclusivity, tenacity, right? These are all autistic traits, aren't they? You have gifts to give people in this world, but too often those gifts are locked inside of you. And so this step is all about uncovering your superpowers, because the world is a scary as heck place right now. And people desperately need you to bring your light and your love and your goodness out into the world. And you have peers who are doing it already. A lot of them are our clients, right? But your peers are living a life that you want to live. And rather than reinvent the social wheel, just do what they're doing. Follow their strategy. Figure out who you want in your life and what you want your life to look like. That's step one. Set your sights on social success. Then spend your time in the places where your future friends and maybe even partners spend theirs, places like Autism Tree, right? That's step two, find your tribe. Then plan for the questions you want to ask and the stories you want to tell, because a great conversation is the spark that starts a friendship and more. That's step three, building your mental library. Do all of that with more confidence and less anxiety because you've found your superpowers. That's step four. And so now let's talk about step five, which is the one that separates people whose lives change quickly from everyone else who just continues to struggle. And that's having the right mentor, okay? The right mentor is the secret weapon of your peers who are living their best lives. And I'm going to share with you something that I wish I knew when I was a much, much, much younger man, which is that everyone should have a mentor. It doesn't matter what you're trying to accomplish in life, whether it's finding a job, making a movie, finding a friend or a girlfriend. It doesn't matter what your goals are. It's easier when you have a mentor. And think about it, like there's a great mentor or coach behind every great person and achievement. Michael Jordan had Phil Jackson, Bill Gates had Warren Buffett, the Beatles had George Martin, Luke Skywalker had Yoda. I have 5 mentors of my own, not including my parents and my amazing wife. If you want to succeed at something, you should have a mentor who knows how to make it happen, because trial and error is a recipe for failure. Okay, but the right mentor will give you exactly what you need to be successful. Starting with a proven strategy, because you want to know that other autistic people, just like you, have used the strategy successful. But here's the thing, very honestly, strategy alone isn't enough, because strategy means nothing if you don't actually use it. So pick a mentor who's also going to be there in those tough moments to inspire you and motivate you and build your confidence, because winning is a process. And there are going to be moments along the way when you doubt yourself. But the right mentor will be there by your side to boost you up when you need it most. And they're going to hold you accountable, because humans have a tendency to slack off when nobody's looking. Okay. But the right mentor is going to keep you moving forward. And the right mentor is going to be there to problem solve, because there are going to be obstacles that pop up along the way. And that is really important, because there are going to be times when things go wrong. You don't know why. And at that moment, you're going to have exactly 3 choices. Okay. Number 1, you can quit. That's what a lot of people do. They quit. Or number 2, you can waste months, maybe even years, trying to figure out what the problem is yourself. Or number 3, you can turn to your mentor who knows exactly what's going wrong and knows how to fix the problem. Okay. Troubleshooting the problems that arise along the way is absolutely critical. And that's why nobody's life has ever been transformed by reading a self-help book. Okay. Books and videos, they feel good, but when a question comes up and you feel stuck, there's nobody there to ask for help. But the right mentor is going to be there for you, to connect you to your dream, to remind you of your greatness, to show you what's been going wrong, to show you how to fix it, and to get you back on the path to success quickly. I had the beautiful privilege of going to one of my clients' weddings. His name is Douglas. I was actually in his wedding. I gave him and his bride a blessing under the marital canopy. And he came up to me at the wedding reception and he said something to me that I'll never forget. He said, when the odds are against you, you have to change the odds. And he knew what his odds were, and they were grim. And he didn't want to live life alone, but everything else he tried has failed. So he needed to change the odds. And that's why he sought out a mentor. Okay. He sought out the mentor that's right for him and that's right for his goals. And now he's married. He has a wonderful wife. They're happy together and they have never looked back. Ilana and I love serving the autism community because we love helping people win. Helping you live your best social life, living up to your social potential, achieving your dream of community and friendships and relationships is what gets us out of bed every morning. And I work a 7-day week every week because this means the world to us. So we want to share with you what we can do to help. So Ilana and I are offering you and your family what we call a strategy session so that you can take these steps and apply them to your social life starting now. And the reason that we offer to do this is because whatever is keeping you socially stuck, we've seen it and we've helped our clients overcome it. So we have an amazing coach named Cecile. She herself is neurodivergent, and she'll get on the phone with you and your family. We'll do a strategy session together. Your family and Cecile will spend 90 minutes getting to know you and getting you crystal clear on exactly what you want your friendships and relationships to be and on exactly what's been keeping you stuck. And then we're going to share with you a step-by-step plan for how to fix it. And you'll leave our strategy session feeling like there's a path forward and that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. What I have found over the years is that since we're going to be working on the most important social goals in your life, we need the most important people in your life to participate. And that's why we do the strategy session with you and both of your parents. So it's 3 of you plus Cecile. And, of course, if you don't have 2 parents who are alive, let us know that. We'll plan accordingly. But if you do, we look forward to meeting all 3 of you because having all 3 of your perspectives is how we make a lot of progress in a very small amount of time. And we also know that if you want to work together with us, that's going to be a family decision. So it's incredibly important to have your family together for this strategy session. But the strategy session itself costs nothing. There's no charge. There's no catch. I've done hundreds of them. And it's our gift to people who want to enjoy a social life that's more vibrant and more fulfilling. So if you want to schedule time with us, it's mybestsociallife.com/free session. If you're on the spectrum, if you're a parent, it's mybestsociallife.com/apply. Our email address is jeremy@mybestsociallife.com. And Dana, this has been a long time coming. We have been organizing this for close to 2 years, but we have done it. Thank you for hosting us. And I spoke really, really fast, but left 6 minutes for for Q&A.
You guys are amazing.
Hopefully you could play it back in slow-mo.
Right.
On YouTube, there might be a way. Who knows? We can figure
There
it out.
is actually. I'll just put our email address in the chat.
Yeah, usually people speed things up, but for this one, you might need to slow it down.
This was an amazing lunch and learn. Thank you guys so much for all this like amazing content of just tips and direct advice on what our families can do, and you guys get it. You're on the pulse of it. Like we knew from day one when we met you guys, like we're a part of the same family, we're part of the same tribe. You speak our language. We love that. So since we are, all here together, let's hear from everybody who's on this Zoom call. Yeah.
Let's do it.
Amanda, go ahead.
I'm Amanda. I'm the regional director for Brain Balance of Greater San Diego. Super excited to be able to join this. I hopped in the car, so sorry, turned my camera off, but I got to hear everything. I'm really excited to introduce your product or your service, to our families, because they're always asking about social groups. We have a lot of young adults and one actually who started this week, who's 27, and he's desperate for connection. So I'm definitely going to send him your way. But I was wondering, how young do you coach the kids?
So, we've found that there's what they call the cliff. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the cliff. So our clients are usually 18 to 70. Our youngest is 17. Our oldest is about 70. And most of our clients are in their 20s and 30s.
Wow.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And Amanda, I will put, we have a link for professionals and practitioners who want to speak with us. So let me just quickly put the link there. We have a brand new computer, so I have to make sure that I have
Is that okay?
Can we get it quickly?
We also include that in our recap email to everybody.
Got it.
Yeah, so this is for practitioners. Oh, I've been doing direct messages. Sorry guys, I put my let me try this again. So that's for the practitioners. For people who want to book a strategy session, it's mybestsociallife.com/free session, and our email address is jeremy@sociallife.com. Boom, there you go.
Love it.
I typed as fast as I could. Okay, what else?
Cindy, she said something in the chat, so I just wanted to read it real quick before we get
Sure.
to it. She said, love the presentation. I've never seen someone break it down to the basic elements of conversation. Love the simplicity of the patterns of personal exchange and finding your superpower and sharing your light. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's very sweet of you. I will tell you, when I was, I started out coaching like everyone else coaches, like people coming to me once a week, and I kind of give them my neurotypical version of friendship and dating, and I teach them in a neurotypical way. And I really did see that it wasn't working. And I realized that like so many of our clients are into math and data and science. And I was like, oh, we got to figure out the science kind of behind the architecture. And so I started looking for like, how do you explain socializing differently? And I couldn't find anyone that explained what a conversation is. Like, what are the elements of a conversation? I'm not saying that no one's done it, but I haven't found it. I've looked a lot. And so I started like just thinking about conversations. And that's where we came up with these sort of 5 basic elements. We've actually changed them a little bit. One of our commitments to our clients is that anytime we come up with a better idea, a better strategy, we change the old strategy and give them the new one. And we actually kind of realized that the 5 elements are just slightly different, right? Here we talked about questions, answers, reactions, stories, and planning. But we realized that body language is one of the 5 elements, right? It is the unspoken element of a conversation. So the 5th element is now body language, and we rolled stories into answers. And now we call them dynamic responses. So we have deep questions, dynamic responses, the way that you react, the future plans that you make, and body language. So we've updated that kind of recently to just really comport with how we see conversations operating in the real world.
Love that. Carlos has the next question. Go ahead, Carlos.
Okay. I guess 2 points. Number one, when I saw what this thing was about, I decided to come online. My daughter Katrina she has a lot of trouble socializing, and I think one of your slides described a lot of what she does. So she's at work now. When she gets home, I guess you're gonna post this by Friday, and I'll suggest she watch it and see if she's interested in proceeding forward. I think that's this might be something good for her. She doesn't socialize well. She's conversive. You talk to her, she's she's bright, intelligent, what have you, but she has trouble initiating a conversation in a way that, as you people have said, that gets people interested and willing to talk to her. That's a huge part of conversation. Another thing I want to say is you brought up having a superpower, which a lot is, have enough respect for yourself that you could say that, yes, I'm different, but everybody's different. And, my differences are not a weakness, they're a strength. I bring that up because a good friend of Katrina's and mine is a huge cabaret performer in LA. And she was also a regular in the TV series Star Trek Deep Space Nine. That's where she really got her fame. But she has this anti-bullying campaign that she always does something at San Diego Comic-Con, a panel discussion. And it's about using, comic book superheroes to basically help you understand your own superpowers. Because I think that people who are bullied have a lot of the same challenges as autistic or neurodiverse people. They don't believe they're good. And you need something to say to yourself, no, I am. And I'm going to speak to my strengths. I think that's a lot of conversation. So that's another thing I like to bring up is that, Chase Masterson is her name, but I forgot the name of her charity, but she's but it's interesting that that's the same concept.
Absolutely.
So, but I'll when you post this, I think by Friday, and I'll I'll ask my daughter to watch it and see if she wants to participate in such a program. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you for sharing that, Carlos. And in a second, I'll put into the chat. I'll put our website link in the chat because we do have an older version of this presentation on the website, and I'll put the link for parents who want to apply for a free family strategy session with us. So just, let me just put that in the chat. There you go.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. The Comic-Con thing on bullying is very, very interesting. Yeah.
Oh, so you're participating in Comic-Con?
No. We're actually applying right now to be part of a panel at LA Comic-Con on neurodiversity and autism. But I think the application was literally just submitted. We're about to be submitted. So
now we're curious. We might be interested in going to LA Comic-Con. We love the San Diego Comic-Con. So
I've never been to Comic-Con before. I'm very excited to go to a Comic-Con.
Well, they do have a neurodiverse conference. Well, not a neurodiverse. That's true. I don't remember seeing a neurodiverse panel discussion, but certainly Chase's panel discussion has always been interesting and means a lot to Katrina. Because, by the way, another thing with autistic people is they get bullied.
Yeah.
And how and that doesn't help their self-esteem. So,
right.
Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
We love it. We love these conversations after, and we don't mind staying a few minutes after to connect. And Amanda asked, should we share this link or this video recording? Yes, absolutely. I will post this on our YouTube by Friday at the very latest. So if you subscribe, you'll get that notification, or if you could just get back on Friday.
Okay. I was just figured, like, if I share your recording, then they know about Autism Tree too, versus just going to the My Best Social Life, correct?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Exactly.
a winner.
Yeah. Everyone's a winner. We're all part of the same community.
Absolutely.
Any last minute comments or wanting to introduce yourself? saying hi. That was amazing.
Well, it's really a pleasure to get to meet all of you. You know, I've only lived in California for 3 years. Ilana's lived here a little over a year, and we're very, very, very integrated into the autism community in New York. But we've only, you know, we haven't lived here for very long. So becoming part of the Autism Tree family is really big for us, and it's just nice to know that that you're here and that you're helping people and you got really cool events going on, because ultimately, you know, what we try to help our clients do is find community, find their tribe, become part of the fabric of something. And it's clear to us that Autism Tree truly believes that. And so in that way, our missions are very, very complementary. So this has been an honor.
I love it. Thank you, Jeremy and Ilana. Well, I'd love to take a group picture. Oh, Katie said real quick in the chat, great information. I appreciate. We'll definitely sharing it with others I work with. Thank you. Awesome. Well, let's take a group picture before we leave, and we'll just look at your camera, big smiles, and I'll do a screenshot. Ready? 3, 2, 1, cheese. Wonderful. All right.
Miss you.
Good to see everyone. Have a great rest of your week.
Thank you
Bye,
so
everybody.
much.
Take care, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Rebecca, I'll see you tonight.
Thank you guys. Great. It was amazing.
Pleasure.
Beautiful
Pleasure,
day,
pleasure.
everybody.
Amanda, looking forward to meeting you too, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.